Alright, so here's my example voiceover using Screencast-O-Matic. If you are watching this or just kind of skimming through it, you should have already watched the tutorial video from the Screencast-O-Matic link that I posted. You can choose either the option that says to use just a screen. If you want to have a little picture of yourself in the bottom and have the webcam too, that's up to you. I'm not going to do that. So I'm just doing the screen. So from here on out, I would present like I was presenting to the whole group. So in this case, you want to make sure that you are, have your notes ready, have everything that you want to say. Try to make it as professional and succinct and non-wordy, clear, concise. Your best possible presentation you can get. Now that might mean you go through this the first time and you totally fudge it up and it sucks and you realize you need to do it over. That's okay. Restart, do it over. When I've done these before, I sometimes have had to do it 3, 4, 5 times before I feel like I've done a really good job. So if I was starting and say, hey, this is seminar 25, migrating fish. What is fish migration? Fish migration is when large groups of fish go from one place to another. Side note, you can see here that the cursor will show up on the screen, so you can use that to point to certain pictures if you'd like to during your presentation. What are the reasons for fish migrating? Well, fish migrate usually for food or for reproduction, and usually that's due to a change in the temperature, as changing water temperatures usually affects what type of fish are in certain areas. And I would have made sure that this was fixed before I did it, but we'll move on. Anadromous migration is a type of migration where fish usually live most of their life in saltwater, and then when it's time to reproduce, they will swim in to freshwater to spawn and reproduce. And the Pacific salmon is one really good example. When they are after they're born, they come out to saltwater to live their life, and then when they're ready to reproduce, they can find their way all the way back to the exact place of water that they were born at due to a chemical imprint and odor at birth, which is pretty cool. Another type of migration is catadromous migration. This is the opposite. This is where fish live their adult lives in freshwater and then they swim to saltwater to spawn. So the silver eel is an example where they will live in freshwater in Europe, and then when they're ready to reproduce, they take about a 3,000-mile trip down to the Bermudas where they go to spawn. And then those babies, once they spawn, they will make their way all the way back to freshwater to live their life. So again, pretty amazing that they are able to do that. Diadromous. What is diadromous migration? That's a different. That's the third type. So we had salt to fresh, we had fresh to salt. Diadromous is both. They can they kind of live half their lives in each. The Kewaunee Fishery Station is a fishery station that's located in Kewaunee, Wisconsin. This is where Chinook or king salmon come up the Kewaunee River, and they make their way, you can see here, up fish ladders, where eventually they make their way into this reservoir, and they get pushed up into the station where they're actually documented, tagged, and the eggs and the sperm are actually manually and physically forced out of the king salmons, and then actually they die right after they spawn. So then the king salmons are sent to ichthyology classes like ours for dissection. What if stuff is in the way of migration? Sometimes there's dams and things in the way, which affect certain fish migration. Obviously, if we want to make sure that we have as little impact on the environment around us as possible, sometimes we have to think of ingenious ways. So, like the video we watched of the salmon cannon, and I wanted to show parts of the video I would. Okay, great. That was fish migration. Thank you for watching. So, even with my little stopping and explaining certain things, I am under 5 minutes, which is what you should shoot for your total presentation, is that it should probably be definitely under 5 minutes, around 4 to 5. so that these are kind of easily watchable, quick little info things. Okay, so this was the voiceover. Once you do this and I click pause, it's going to pull up something where I want to publish it to. There's an option to publish it to YouTube. That's the option I would like you to do, is publish it to YouTube and then save that link. And then when we do Edpuzzle and we put your questions in there, we'll need to find it on YouTube. So publish it to YouTube, make sure you got the link.